Hey, good morning, everybody. We're live. We're here on Facebook with a live broadcast, and it's scissor tips. It's scissor tips because you asked for some scissor tips. So we're going to get our mannequin friend out here, and I'm going to use this guy because this guy's got some slightly longer hair, and he's going to give us an opportunity to take a look at some scissor cutting tips. So let's brush him out a little bit and see what we got going on. We're going to start our scissor tip conversation with talking about scissor usage. This is a 6.5 fixed finger rest, adjustable tension screw. Nice scissors. It's got good feel. It's got good balance to it. We're going to be using it to do some traditional scissor cutting. And a couple of the tips and tricks that I want to point out to help with your, what I like to call cutting hygiene, is the idea of riding the tip of your scissor on your fingers. So when we take sections of hair, when we hold up or elevate sections of hair, we don't want to be cutting here in outer space off that surface. What we want to do is we want to comb up that section of hair. We want to set the tip of our scissors on our finger, and we want to cut across in that way. I want to show you what that looks like up close. I'm going to turn my fingers and turn my scissors. I literally set the tip of the scissor on my finger and I walk it across. See how that's on my finger? I can do this all day long. I don't even have to look at it. I can look at you. And you'll see it's not going to cut me. I can open and close like that, and it's not going to cut me because I'm resting on my finger. I've got a little callus on the corner of my finger there from years and years of setting the scissor down there and walking it across. But that contact with my finger is one of the things that really reinforces very, very, very clean cutting. I come in like this, I set the scissor on there, and I cut it across. It gives me a surface, it gives me a platform off of which to work. Standard kind of good cutting, I call that cutting hygiene, good cutting behavior. Now the next thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about your comb following your fingers. This is clean scissor cutting, but it's related to comb it up, and notice my fingers are following my comb. My comb and my fingers slide together. I'm not combing and then grabbing out here. I'm combing, and the comb and the scissor, or the fingers, are coming along together. What that's helping with is distribution. What that's helping with is tension. It's helping me maintain that tension all the way out until the point at which I hope to cut. Let me just check in real quick. We've got a couple of people joining us. Diana, good morning. Nice to have you here. We've got a few viewers watching, so we want to acknowledge that this video, while it's being recorded, it is in fact live. So we're happy to have you here this morning. So far, what have we looked at? We've looked at resting the tip of our scissor on our finger, and we've looked at riding our finger and our comb along the hair shaft together. Now we're going to talk about what I call grip and regrip. This comes into that don't cut past the second knuckle conversation. Grip and regrip looks like this. I'm going to comb this section up. I'm going to remember, fingers and comb working together. Then I'm going to rest my scissor on my finger, and I'm going to cut to the second knuckle, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop at the second knuckle. Don't cut past the second knuckle. Then I'm going to grip and regrip and slide back up. And again, I'm going to cut to, but only to the second knuckle. Now, this has nothing to do with you cutting you. This has nothing to do with you cutting your fingers. This is all about making sure that we maintain tension. Between our second knuckle and our fingertips, we've got a good grip on the hair. Past the second knuckle up here, the hair can buckle, it can drop, it can shorten, actually lengthen because it drops away, and the hair gets longer, and we end up with inconsistent cutting lines. So we go to the second knuckle, we grip and regrip. Go to the second knuckle, grip and regrip, always cutting up to but not past the second knuckle. Fingers follow comb, scissor follows fingers. This is how we cut clean. And clean cutting is like building a building. We're going to lay a solid foundation, and then we can build floors. We can build ourselves a pretty big building. So I just want to take a look at my notes about the things we were going to share. I wanted finger and scissor position. I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about comb following. I wanted to talk about that. I want to talk about partings. That's another thing I wanted to address. And this is specifically, I had some requests for some very classic scissor work for people. There's a lot of barber cutters out there who did not get a lot of solid scissor skills as part of their initial education. They got a lot of clipper skills, but they didn't get nearly as much scissor skills in building their repertoire and building their skill set. So when we get into this, one of the points I want to make, and I'm going to grab some Clipper Guy grippers here, one of the points I want to make deals with clean partings. Very clean lines, sections, and partings. If I want to address the side of the head like this, I want to clip off the top like that, and I want a nice clean parting to segregate the area that I'm going to focus on. Once I've done that, within this area, if I wish to work vertically, I want to again take clean sections. I want to cleanly part off sections of hair, and I'm going to use another section and clipper or gripper to be able to isolate just what I wish to work with. This becomes very, very important because as we look to work with clean sections and partings, we look to consolidate just the hair we're working with. I take this section of hair, I draw it out, fingers follow comb, scissor follow fingers, grip and regrip. See how these skills one at a time are building on one another to help us lay a very clean foundation for the work that we're going to do. So sectioning and parting is another thing that I wanted to talk about. I also want to talk about section size. Now you saw me create this front section right here. You saw me draw it out and cut it. Now I want to use it as my guide, and I want to bring hair to it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to come in and I'm going to take my next section of hair. I'm going to comb it out. I'm going to isolate it by clipping off the other hair that I wish not to deal with at this point in time. Now I've got that hair segregated. I want it to be a bit damp for control. Now, the rule on section size is I want my section to be large enough to be worthwhile, take a reasonable amount of hair, but I don't want my section size to be so large that I cannot see my guide through it. I want it to be fine enough that I can control it. And here we go. Now I'm going to take that, I'm going to comb, and let's go back to basics. Comb and fingers follow together. Section size small enough, and put my fingers behind it for visual purposes so I can see my guide. Comb it out, hold it up. Fingers follow comb, scissor follows fingers, second knuckle, grip, and regrip. Notice how I'm building on these basics. We talked about scissor position on our finger. We talked about comb following scissors. We talked about sectioning clean, and we talked about the size of our partings. We talked about not working past the second knuckle, and we talked about grip and regrip. These are really good basic scissor techniques. And if you're in the market for a good scissor, go to my website. These are my Clipper Guy Cosmo Barberology scissors, specifically designed for approaching a combination of men's hair cutting, barbering, with a cosmetology mindset and practice. This is a 6.5 fixed finger rest adjustable tension screw, 440C Japanese. I have it in 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, and 7 on my website at ivanzoot.com. Also, I'm going to include in the comments on this video a link. I'm going there right now to grab it. Just be patient with me for one moment. I'm going there to grab the link to my new podcast. That's right, guys. I have a brand new podcast that is on Spotify, soon to be on iTunes, totally free. I want you to subscribe. Let me put it in the comments. Here we go. There's the link. Subscribe. I spelled subscribe wrong, so I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to edit that, and I want to say subscribe, and I want to spell it right. So there you go. There is the link to the podcast. Later, when this video gets pulled off of Facebook and winds up on YouTube, I'll also include the podcast link in the YouTube description, so you'll have that there. But that's some good clean cutting basic scissor tips for today to get you started and to get you on your way. I'm going to log off this video. I'm going to log on to another video, and we're going to do another video today, scissor cutting, where we're going to talk about top cutting, working our way through the interior of men's haircuts. And then in a third video, we're going to get into a very important skill set, and that is scissor over comb. You ready to go there? You'll go there with me in just a moment. I'm going to end this one, and I'm going to log back on to another video. Thanks for watching. Visit me at ivanzoot.com for lots more information, and check out my channel on YouTube for tons of free videos. Bye-bye.